Welcome to The Providers, brought to you by SmokingIt.com. Hey, we got a good one here. We're talking about ice fishing, and hopefully we get enough ice to go. But we talk about that. We talk about our hookups with what we do with our setups for things, and how we have customized our own setups for, the ice fishing season and what makes it successful for us. And we have a good viewer question again that gets us wrapped back into some deer stuff at end of season and what to look for and what we look forward to doing in the off season here. So sit back, enjoy. Thanks for tuning in.
Like leaving boot prints in the mud. As that crisp morning air stands up your neck of hair and your adrenaline starts to flood. When you're a provider, you understand the things the woods can do. How you can lose yourself in the things that you love, but you can find yourself in them too. Yeah, with a hard-working, hard-hunting, freezer-failing providers. Yeah, with a hard-working, hard-hunting, freezer-failing providers.
Who doesn't love making a delicious meal for their family? Smoking It Smokers allow you to do just that. Simply set the settings and walk away, only to come back hours later to have a delicious meal waiting for you. Smoking It Smokers, when only the best will do.
It's starting to get cold again. We did a little thaw out. It's starting to get cold again, and I'm getting itchy for two things. Rabbits, of course. But I want to go ice fishing, man.
Heck yeah. I know, because last couple of years, there's not been a lot of ice. So I was just talking to my brother the other day. I was like, dude, by the time we get to ice fish in Michigan now, it's usually like mid-February. And then you get like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're back to thawing back out again. So it's been frustrating. So yeah, it's hopefully it's getting back into ice fishing season. It was super cold for a while. Of course, I was thinking deer hunting and didn't get out on the ice. and then it hits 50 degrees and everything melts, and we're back at starting point. But yeah, it looks like hopefully things are going to start freezing back up here, at least in southern Michigan. I'm sure up north they're not having the same issues we are, but yeah, dude, ice fishing is so cool because to me, ice fishing is what duck hunting is to you, where you get to sit with your buddies, hang out, shoot the shit, whatever. Ice fishing, I get to sit there, hang out, drink a beer, smoke a cigar, catch some fish. It's awesome. So yeah, it's like my ultimate relaxation thing. And then, we talk about how we're always trying to make things bigger and better and being creative, which I think that's part of what I love about saddle hunting, is trying to make new stuff, and with ice fishing, it's kind of the same way. And we've done some cool stuff over the years that have either made our life easier or just made things more fun to do, and, projects to pass time in the off season. So it's,
before you get into that, because I think I know where you're going here. Because you've done the, pimp my trap, if you will.
Is this where I play the exhibit part from his show?
Exactly.
You've officially been pimped.
So that is awesome. But I have to actually thank you and Ethan for even getting me into ice fishing, because I was always, I've always been the guy that's been, I can wait in a tree stand all day and not see a deer and walk out of the woods and be happy. For some reason, I get on water and I am the most impatient person you'll ever meet. And it's like, there are no fish here. Let's go somewhere else. Where the fish at?
Right. You're staring at a hole on a flat piece of water.
Right. Then you condense it down to, okay, we're going to drill this 6-inch hole and this is your spot.
Right.
I'm like, what? And then I went out on a small pond with you and Ethan one day. He met us out there.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he had Vexilars.
Uh-huh.
He had 2 of them. And he's like, you ever use a Vexilar? And I'm like, no. And that was such a game changer to me.
Right.
It turned it into like almost a video game. It was just so fun.
Yeah, like a fish finder, for people that don't ice fish. A Vexilar is a fish locator, I guess.
Right.
All kind of radar based. So you can see if there's activity going on underneath the hole, which is awesome. It's not like a video camera. You can get video cameras. That's a whole different ball game.
Right.
But yeah, like that was a game changer. So I started ice fishing. I was pretty young going out with my brother, and we were the same way. It was the old hand crank auger. And our first couple times, he took me up to Canada a couple times, and we were going through 16, 18 inches of ice with a hand auger.
Oh my gosh.
And you thought you were going to die. So we'd get out there before daybreak and drill 2 holes for each of us.
Right.
So we could run 2 poles, and we sat there until dark.
Right.
And if you weren't catching anything, the fish weren't there, you weren't catching anything because you did not want to go drill 2 more holes. Like, it sucked. So exactly.
It's your depth with just putting a weight on there and
drop your line down, see how far it goes. And then you're right. It was a super game changer to get a fish finder that tells you your depth. You can see if you got motion going on down there. But then even bigger is when we invested in these battery powered augers.
Yeah.
You could, I think my brother had one of the old gas ones, and then you get out there and it's flooded and you can't get it to start and you're just pissed off. It's freezing cold. And then these battery powered ones came out, and you hook it to your drill. So you get a good battery powered drill, and you go to town on that thing. Like now,
I remember you and I researching the crap out of what drill to buy and all that stuff.
yeah, because you wanted to have a bigger battery and all that. And now that we've got these bigger batteries, got a train driving by in the studio, which is super cool. Yeah. So, but now that we've got these bigger batteries, I mean, we're going out on 6-8 inches of ice and drilling 30 holes.
It was easy.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, you could Swiss cheese that place.
Right.
And it totally changed the game for us because you don't get bored anymore. If I'm sitting there for 5 minutes and I don't have fish, it's time to move. Like, get up and go, and let's go find them. And yeah, and it's super cool when you learn to read the fish finder. Like, now I know that bluegills tend to hang down towards the bottom. So you've got your bottom line on your Vexilar and you're like, oh, there's a ton of fish at the bottom, right? Typically I'm figuring they're gills. We like to fish for crappie.
Yeah.
Because we think they taste better. They're a little more fun to catch. They tend to stay suspended up off the bottom a couple feet. So then all of a sudden you see something sitting up off the bottom a little bit. We're like, oh yeah, we're into crappie. Like, and it's so cool. So that part has been a game changer as far as ice fishing goes. And then, we bought shanties, which that's where Pimp My Ride came into.
It's funny. Like I did a progression where I think I bought a used Vexilar off of Facebook. So I don't know how much I'm going to be into this, but whatever. So I that was my first investment, in a couple poles. And then I was like, if I'm going to be realistic about this, I don't know. I want to go out there and enjoy my time. So I'm probably going to want an actual shanty to just sit out there and enjoy it,
In the shanties, I mean, obviously the shanty's great because it keeps the wind off of you and stuff. But I can remember going out with my brother in the old school shanty that was like a tarp thing. Oh. It had a frame that you put up, but it was basically like putting a blue tarp over yourself. And it worked, but then you had to buy like a little battery powered flashlight that you like hung off the ceiling to give you just enough light, or you had your lantern in there for heat. Yeah, and I had my lantern in there that you touch your fishing line to accidentally and burn it and watch your lure fall down to the bottom of the lake. But then the shanties evolved into the nicer insulated shanties that don't drip condensation on you and stuff. But then the real game changer was LED lights.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And that's where I was like...
So first of all, we both went out and got 2-man flip over shanties.
Yep.
So they're basically built on a jet sled.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it is. And then so that's got a tub for you put all your stuff in. Everything condenses down into that, and then the poles just flips over and pops up, and it's like super easy and convenient.
Yep. And then
nice chairs in there.
But we weren't ready to stop there.
Right. Like,
again, we like the tinker, and
like I bought mine new, and we have two different brands or what, but it was just
they're similar,
but personal preference of what we bought. And I was like, this is brand new. It's sweet. It's awesome. Greg's like, I got some ideas for this.
Yeah. So we did a small battery.
Yeah.
Bought a couple switches off of Amazon, and then now you can buy that roll heavy duty strip LED lighting that you can cut at any length and then run wires to it. So had a little soldering gun, and we lined every one of our ceiling poles with these LED lights.
Like we bought 16 feet of light and
cut it into four foot.
There's 4 sections of pole that go across. So every section has the LED light strip across it.
Yep.
You just light it up. It's like daylight.
And ran wire in between each one so that it still folds down the same. You got enough wire that it folds down. You got enough wire that it expands. And then that comes back to a switch that you flip on a battery. Actually, it's the same battery that we use in our Vexilars.
Yeah.
Just a second battery. And
I've used that as a backup to my Vexilar before. So, yeah.
So we were like, oh, shoot, now we got it's daylight in there when you're fishing. It's awesome. And then went even a step further and we're like, how can we make this jet sled better? And cut some thin plywood that we wrapped in, that nice indoor-outdoor carpeting. And you can customize it however you want. I ended up...
Center console. It's like a center console.
Yep.
Got compartments where I got like 3 different box compartments for what I'm doing, and then the switch in the middle, and
Yep.
I can charge my phone in there if I want.
In the back, I've got a long one that runs behind the 2 seats that flips up, and I put in garden tool holders that you can clip your tools to the wall, like out in your garage or whatever. But I bought them small enough that they grip the grip on my rod and reel.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So I can just clip it in there, but instead of my rods and reels bouncing all over the place, they're actually clipped. And then when I fold that piece down, they're suspended off the jet sled, so they're not bouncing around and all. Like, you can customize it however you want. But number one, it was fun because it gave us projects over the winter, right? Like, even when we couldn't be on the ice, we were tinkering with stuff at home and calling each other, going, "Dude, I just did this. Check it out." And it was fun as part of the experience of ice fishing. And then you came to me, I think, with the scaffolding idea.
Yeah, the idea of just, there's a lot of stuff online and things that you can do. So a jet sled's not heavy per se, but you load it down with everything, tugging it across the water or, on the ice it gets...
Especially if you got fresh snow that it sinks into. Yeah.
So if you could elevate that and put it on skis, then it just glides across.
Less surface area.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
Yeah.
So we found
cross-country skis.
Aluminum scaffolding.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I had a neighbor of mine go through his garage, and he had a dumpster, and he had cross-country skis. He was throwing them away.
Yeah, or people selling them on marketplace or garage sales or whatever, dirt cheap. Yeah, so
scoop those up, and then I don't know. I think you found scaffolding.
Harbor Freight had like 1 foot or 18-inch scaffolding.
It might have been.
It was Werner brand, I remember. Maybe we bought it at Lowe's, but it was Werner.
Lowe's or something, but it was normally supposed to be like $80, and they were like 30 or something.
Yeah,
like something stupid.
And I've got pictures of this that I'm going to show so you guys can see what we're talking about. But essentially, you're getting rid of all of the surface area of the jet sled on the snow, and you're turning it into the width of 2 cross-country skis.
And it props it up so it's higher if you're in deep snow or whatever.
Yep.
And then we made it so it folds flat to fit.
Slide under your tonneau cover. It would still, our shanty would still fit under our tonneau cover with this on top of it.
It was light enough. It made such a difference that, so what I like to do is take, this is a cheater way for me, but I take my safety harness in a tree stand, which has your tether on it, and I hook that to the rope of my sled.
Which is genius.
And then I'm hands-free and I just
walk.
And pulls behind me, so that works. I mean, I know they probably make harnesses just for that, but...
Yeah, but why? Right. Especially now that we're saddle hunting, we don't use our standard safety harness anymore. So I just leave my safety harness with with my ice fishing stuff, because even if you don't have that mechanism that we built, if you're just pulling a jet sled, still super nice to click a carabiner from that thing on your harness and be hands-free walking across the ice rather than having your body torqued around. We're getting old, dude. Like, our backs can't do that anymore. And yeah, like, but
this made it such a difference that my dad is, he's getting old. You talk about us being old, and it was 2 or 3 years ago or whatever, but he went out ice fishing with me and he has trouble getting around and stuff. I had him sit on the seat of the shanty, which is on top of this, and he just dangled his feet off the bottom, and I just walked like nothing. Like, it just...
Oh, you pulled him. Yeah.
Across the ice, and like, it's a huge difference.
Right. Oh yeah. It's
crazy.
It is amazing. And like, I don't know, we're always looking ways to improve stuff. And then I've got a couple small little ponds that I go out on that maybe I don't need my shanty if I'm going out for 2 hours or whatever. So I actually made what I call a go bucket.
Okay.
And it's a 5-gallon bucket. I'll do the same thing. I'll take some pictures, put it up here.
Greg Francis Go Bucket.
Go Bucket.
GF Go Bucket.
So you buy a 5-gallon bucket.
The Go Bucket is not a portable ship.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, you didn't know what that meant the first time I brought it out. Filled my Go Bucket. No, I took a 5-gallon bucket. And this is my fast setup. So 5-gallon bucket. I've got lures in it, and I'm going to tell you how I set up my lures in just a second. But on the outside of it, I bought small pieces of PVC that the handle of my rod slides into.
Okay.
And it holds my pole. So I've got my main bucket. It holds 2 poles tight to the bucket, but they're on the outside, so I'm not breaking them, not snapping them. I bought one of those portable bucket seats. I think they're $10 or something. That's actually got like the 2-inch pad on it.
Yeah.
That I can remove so I can access the inside of the bucket, obviously. I put a holder on the outside of the bucket for my strainer scoop. So after you drill out your hole, you got your scoop right there. And then I put 2 mounts on the outside of the bucket for 2 tip-ups. So I can go out with 2 tip-ups, two rods and reels that I've got set ready to go, and my scooper. And if I'm sitting on my seat, I have access to all of that stuff. And then inside I've got, my different jigs that I want to fish with, maybe, stuff I don't need all the time. And inside the bucket, my Vexilar fits in there. So when I walk out with the handle of the bucket, I've got my Vexilar already in there, and in my other hand I just have to carry out my auger, and I can go fish wherever I want. And it's super sweet because of the convenience of getting everything in there without having to pull out my 2-man shanty every time and battle that. So that's something kind of cool too that I came up with. And then inside that bucket I've got a square piece of styrofoam. Do you tie jigs on the ice?
Yeah.
You're an idiot. My fingers get so cold that I cannot tie fishing line on the ice. So what I ended up doing is I take my tungsten jigs, and I've got some of these set up with a single jig at the bottom. I've got some of them set up with 2 jigs, 12 inches apart for bluegills or crappie or whatever. And I pre-tie them like 2 feet long, and I put a barrel swivel on the end of it. Then I take that, and I've got a piece of styrofoam, and I can push the barrel swivel into the styrofoam to hold it, wrap the 2 feet around the styrofoam, and then clip it with the bottom jig.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So I've got like 12 pre-made jigs with a barrel swivel. So if I want to change color or something or try something new, all I got to do is unconnect that barrel swivel, pop it on whatever reel I'm looking to fish with, and wrap my other one around it and put it away for the time. So I'm not tying stuff, because
I'm trying to figure out if you're a genius or if I'm just a moron, because that's awesome.
it's super time saving, but I'm also a pansy whose fingers get really freaking cold.
Yeah, but like, I guess I don't mind tying off or whatever, but there's times where, if I don't have, especially if I don't have my shanty, it's super windy, and it's just like trying to do all this stuff, and the wind's blowing, and that line for ice fishing is so much smaller in seeing the line and everything out there while everything's going on is.
Or even the jigs, like you drop one of those small jigs and you've got 2 inches of snow on the ice. That thing just disappears, and that's good. You're like, oh my God, where did that go? So I like that aspect of it. The other thing about ice fishing, like if you're on fish, you're on fish. Like if you're fishing for panfish,
Everything turns out to be, you gotta do it quick.
yeah, if you're fishing for panfish, like they're there. You're not catching the random bluegill that's swimming by type thing, So if you're in them and something's biting a specific, we tend to notice if they're hitting something, they're hitting a certain color that they're preferring, time of day, different lakes, whatever. If I have to, man, I'm diving into my bucket trying to find the same color that I can get on my second pole. Here's the other thing we figured out, and Ethan might have taught us this one, is not to put our Vexilar in the same hole that we're fishing in.
Oh, yeah.
Take the time to do an extra hole in front of us. Yeah, just maybe even 12 inches away, but that way you've got your transducer down there and your fishing line isn't getting wrapped around it as the fish is swimming.
I go with Sam a lot, and I'll even do it by myself, really, but when I'm setting up for my spot to put my shanty at, I'm drilling 3 holes. So I drill a hole in the middle, and I drill 2 holes to the side, almost like a triangle. And I put that middle hole's for the Vexilar, and that covers both of us.
Yeah, both of you can watch it. And then if you want to, even you can go 2 holes for each of you if you like to double. My brother loves to double fish.
Okay.
If I'm in fish, I like to do it one-handed because nothing worse, or I guess more exciting, depends how you look at it, than trying to be dealing with a fish on one reel and then look and your other bobber's bouncing around and you're like, oh crap. So, but yeah, and that's where it's kind of cool with ice fishing too, is in Michigan, you get to have 3 lines in the water. So now a tip up counts as a line, right? So if you want to set a tip up, then you could set 1 tip up and fish 2 poles, or you could set 2 tip ups and actually fish a single pole. So that's kind of cool too, because you set a tip up and walk away from it, and you can sit there and be fishing and just watch and see if that flag's going to pop. And if the flag pops, then
explain a tip up
so basically,
it has an ice fish if you're talking about tip.
Yeah, so tip ups are cool. I didn't start using them right away. I used to just rod and reel fish, and then people started showing me tip ups, and it's a piece of plastic that goes, plastic, wood, whatever, that goes across the hole that you drill, and it's got a spring-loaded flag on it and a small reel underneath that, and you drop your line down with, a lot of times we'll use like a treble hook if we're fishing for pike, or
goes down into the water.
Yep, and everything drops down, so you drop it down at whatever you want level wise. You lock off your line so that your line's free floating, and people will put a live minnow on it, a live, a little bit bigger panfish or something, and hook it by the tail so that that's swimming around is a bait fish. Steve has even tried.
Yeah.
What have you tried?
You gotta think outside of the box sometimes.
And it's worked.
I saw it online, so I thought I'll try it. But I actually have used a hot dog for pike with a tip up.
Which makes sense because a hot dog's flat. I mean, it's got a fish shape to it.
Kinda.
And obviously it's probably got a smell and a flavor that goes through the water. So yeah, you've made that work, right?
So the first time I tried it, I was with my buddy Derek and my dad. And I said, hey guys, I brought a pack of hot dogs. And they're like, okay. Like, are we going to eat hot dogs? And I'm like, no, this is going to be my bait. And they're like, they made fun of me. Now, we went up to a small lake in Harrison, and that's 2.5 hour drive from here, probably.
Yeah.
And they pretty much made fun of me all the way there. Okay, whatever. So we go, we get our spots set, we're jigging, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go set one up. So I go out, find a spot about 10 foot of water or so, drill the hole. I have the Vexlar looking at what I'm doing, and I actually drilled 2 holes so I could set that tip up, So so it's a full size hot dog. It's like full length regular. Mm-hmm. Like you don't cut it in half, anything. You just use, and then you take that.
Does it have to be ballpark Frank or what is it?
I mean, they prefer. Sure, you'd get some.
Does it have to be a Nathan's hot dog or?
You can get some Sam's Club deal if you want. Depends on what part of the state you're in. So you take your treble hook and you pretty much reverse it through the hot dog, and it's just enough to have it hold, and then you drop it down. So I set it up, and I'm in 10 feet of water, and I have it so I can see my mark, and it's about 2 foot off the bottom maybe or something, and it's just suspended there, and I'm like looking at it and set the flag, and I'm like, this is cool, and for whatever reason I just looked at that Vexlar for a minute, and I was like, well, see if it's gonna mark anything, whatever. All of a sudden I can see where that hot dog is, and then I see this mark, and I'm like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden it's level, and then I'm looking at it like, this isn't really happening, because usually you set up a tip up and you wait for hours.
Right, yeah, you walk away from it and
then you keep looking on your shanty hoping it goes off, but and then boom, right in front of my face it just pops off like
the flag springs. That's awesome.
So then I'm yelling, I got one on. They're like, they couldn't believe it. And then, I hand pull it all in, and they're like, holy crap. I caught like 4 or 5 pike that day just
on hot dogs.
And they were blown away. And I've done it since. It's pretty cool. Sometimes, and it's like anything else. You could go out 10 times.
Right.
And it might not work.
Right.
But you go out with a live minnow and it's still not going to work, but I don't know, it worked. And even pike that weren't legal length, like smaller pike, we're just swallowing it whole. Like you would think that full size
they don't,
too big of a bait to use, and they're just,
they don't flinch. Yeah. This was one of my funniest stories, but I actually tried your hot dog method out on a gravel pit. So it's kind of a small pit, and my daughter Callie was probably 8 years old maybe, And she wanted to go out ice fishing with us. So it was like, oh, we're out on the gravel pit. We're not far from the truck. Like, it'll be good if she gets cold. We call it, whatever. So my brother came out with us. So my brother and I are fishing. We set a tip up, used a hot dog. Callie's sitting next to me. We're catching some bluegills, having fun. And all of a sudden, I look over and this flag pops. And I'm like, oh, crap. Like, not a big gravel pit, so I wasn't really expecting much, I didn't know what was in there. We catch a lot of bluegill in there, but that's all I really know. And so I tell Callie, I'm like, run over there to that flag and grab the line and just give it a good tug and then start pulling. Well, she goes over and does exactly what I tell her. She's like 20, 30 yards away from me. So I stand up and I just kind of start walking that way. I'm watching her and I'm like, pull on the line, pull on the line. So she's like, Dad, this thing's really heavy. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm, yeah. So we had a 6-inch auger with us. And I'm like, keep pulling real easy. And I'm sitting there watching. And I've still got my gloves on, I think. And this catfish head comes up and hits the bottom of that 6-inch hole. And it's not fitting through this hole. And Callie can't see it because I think she like wrapped the line around her hand and was walking like backwards because she didn't know to sit by the hole and just pull, So she gets it up and she's like, it's stuck. And I'm like, I know it's stuck. Hang on just a second. So I'm trying to rip my glove off and figure out how I'm going to grab this thing and see if I can fit it through the hole. Well, I get like a partial grip on it, but it's not fitting through a 6-inch hole. Like, I don't know how big this catfish was. Like, it was so awesome. Callie lets go of the line because she knows that I have a hold of the fish. And she comes up to the hole and she sees that catfish like mouth with the bulging eyes. Screams absolute bloody murder, turns around and sprints like 100 yards to the truck. And my brother is just laughing his ass off the entire time. She swore she saw a monster, and she's 12 now and she still hears the word catfish and she's like, nope, not doing that. And we lost that fish. I could not get that fish through a 6-inch hole. Yeah. So I still always am like, God, I'd love to know what that fish was. But yeah, that was on a hot dog. Yeah. Crazy. So catfish on a hot dog, which, I mean, they're bottom feeders, I guess. They'll eat anything, but hot dogs definitely work. So it sounds hilarious, but you know how much more convenient it is though? Oh yeah. You run to the store, grab a pack of hot dogs. Or have it in your refrigerator already. If instead of going and trying to find the sporting goods shop that has the minnows, that has the right size minnows, that's even open on the day that I get to go, and which is normally on a Sunday and everybody's closed. So, and then the whole time you're like, I got to keep these minnows alive, and I got, right. It's a whole ordeal of. Minnows in itself is a whole other ordeal. So you can just grab a 6-pack of hot dogs or 8-pack of hot dogs. Yeah, depending how much you go out. And the nice thing is you come home and throw them in your refrigerator and leave them till the next time you go out. Right. Like, your wife's not going to freak out that you got a pack of hot dogs sitting in the fridge. So, yeah, so that's cool. Remember, if you go out with tip-ups, at least in Michigan, you got to have them labeled. We did have a friend get busted up on that one day. They got to have your name and address on the flag because, like I said, it counts as one of your lines in the water. So that's how DNR tracks you if they come out and check. So make sure you got your tip-ups labeled if you use them. But if you haven't used them, I suggest buying at least one. It gives you another chance of catching a fish. And typically your tip-ups are going to catch you bigger fish than what you're fishing for. So it's kind of a fun change of things. But yeah, so we got some ice fishing hopefully coming up. Maybe you guys can use some of the tips and tricks we threw at you. And so we got a viewer email at the providerspodcast@gmail.com. And we're going to dip back into deer season for just a minute here. Yeah. But it says, good morning, guys. I thought this might be an interesting topic to cover with late antlerless season wrapping up and the season coming to a close. What are some improvements that you guys want to make based on your experience in 2025, such as equipment changes, property management, or even property access strategy? I'm sure you guys evaluate your season and what you can improve on going forward, and now might be a good time since it's all still fresh in our minds. For example, I have a 1/4 acre red clover and rye plot on the property that deer have not touched in the last 2 seasons. I'll be soil testing and researching plot crops for the 2026 season. Thanks, guys. Love the podcast. So you got anything you're thinking of changing up for next year?
When I think of changing things up, I don't have the property in my backyard type thing. You know what I mean? I have a hunting lease, but I'm limited on what I can do with that. I would like to go back down to Ohio and do that spring cleanup thing again. That was awesome. So I would love to do that. Which is most of our spots we've got pretty honed in. We're just trying to, trim some things up and make some things a little bit better. But gear wise, like I switched to a whole new pack this year. That I showed you, I did that rat pack thing that wraps around the tree and stuff.
Yep.
And it was good, but there's still like little tweaks that I think I need to make. I already know that I want to invest in a different style or better bow hanger for my bow. I've got that in my mind. I want to look into some aiders for my sticks.
Just to get extra height?
Yeah, for my portable sticks. So my portable sticks worked great when I used them, but I just wanted that a little bit higher. So I want to look into what aiders I could get for next year, even though most of our sets we have a set of sticks for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most of our sets we do.
Right.
But we like to move around and change some things. So if I'm going to use that portable setup, I got to have the right stuff to get me, access to what I want. So,
and I would say my number 1, 2 every year, I'm trying to figure out how to become more mobile, faster. And for 2 years, I've tried to solve this problem. And I know there's solutions out there, but I want to find a better way. I want to find a way that I can use a foot piece to a climber to use a tree with my saddle. So move my tether up the tree, sit down, let my saddle hold me, lift my legs up, move my spot. So instead of having sticks, having a platform, but I don't want a big platform.
Right.
I want it to be like super small. And this may end up being something I try to do on my own. I don't know, because I haven't found what I like yet for it.
Right.
But I feel like it would be super cool to be able to just carry a single piece out with you instead of a full set of sticks and be able to navigate a tree. So I'm always trying to think of stuff like that. That's been bugging me for like 2 years now, and I'd love to find a way to do that.
You did the one stick thing for a little bit, right?
One stick's awesome. One stick up and then rappel down. You can't one stick back down. I mean, I guess maybe you could, but it'd be a pain in the ass, especially in the dark at the end of a day.
Right.
But it's pretty sweet to be able to be up there and pull your thing and just walk yourself down the tree. That was fun. So yeah, same general concept. I just feel like if I had something that was already wrapped around the tree that you could just shimmy up.
Is the one sticking, are you limited with trees you can pick for that?
No, so the difference would be one stick, you actually remove the stick every move and then re-feed the rope around the tree. So you can go around branches, you do whatever you want.
Right.
If I went to what I was thinking, you'd have to find straight trees again because you're back to being almost like a climber. But a lot of places I hunt are that mature woods that have kind of some straight stuff. So I don't know. I always think that would be something I'd like to change up. I got the tractor last year in the spring, so it was a lot easier to till up my food plot behind the house rather than doing the disc with the quad and stuff. So maybe trying to do more of that. I think with what this question's saying, with a 1/4 acre that's never taken off, I guess my question would be, is it that the clover's not taken off, or that because it's only a 1/4 of an acre, did the deer keep it mowed down to the ground? Because my food plot, that's my issue. And I actually have been thinking about ways I can try to make my plot bigger, because obviously more food, more opportunity for the deer to graze different areas and not just mow it down, because there's times my food plot's an inch off the ground because it's just getting mowed. They're like goats coming through there. But I would almost say to this question though is maybe the issue isn't your soil or your crop. Maybe the issue is too much deer pressure early. So if you got a way, I've seen these things on these hunting shows and stuff where they're putting like an electric fence around it, which I think is, I don't know, a little overkill. But if you got a way you can keep the deer out of it for a time period, that maybe you allow it to establish itself and not open it up until you're ready to use it, that's a solution. Because you might plant anything in 1/4 of an acre and it's not going to grow because they're going to devour it before you get to that point. So that's a hard one for me to process too, because obviously you've only got so much land to work with. But yeah, I would say as far as access goes, we all tried to change our access this year. I felt like we all focused on that more than we ever have. And I think we saw a lot of success from it. So trying to maintain new access points and willing to maybe go out of our way a little bit to get where we need to be, or get creative about where we need to be with using the e-bike or whatever.
Right.
I think those are all things that worked well for us. So we'll probably continue to elaborate on that. But yeah, it's
the other thing too, like I was reminded of it because not too long ago I went out, like a week ago maybe, I went out and grabbed my trail cameras. We had some ground blinds out, so I went through and collected all the stuff, and there was still snow on the ground. And one of Sam's spots, Ron had actually put a camera out there, and we all hunt the same areas, and we don't claim an actual stand, but Sam hunted out of it the most. And he had his camera facing this way, and he tried my vine technique and that stuff, and he got some good pictures and stuff there early on. But Sam started hunting it, and he's like, all the deer are right underneath that oak tree. They're all hitting that oak tree. Mm-hmm. So we changed his camera off of that vine to the oak, and his camera was just blowing up. Well, then with the snowfall, I walked out there and you can see everything. It's like just the perfect map of what these deer are doing. And there wasn't hardly anything by the vine, of course, time of year and all that stuff, but just this highway going across right underneath that oak tree. So it's like, go out there in the off season, look around in the snow on purpose just to see, okay, what are their main runs? Like, you think you have a good idea of what's going on, during the season. You're like, oh, there's a good trail, and then there's just this highway that you're like, oh crap, it's actually over here.
Right. And then having the motivation to go move it.
Yeah.
Like you could move that stand right now if you want to. If not, make sure you're moving it at least in the spring or early summer. Yeah. But how many people go, yeah, it's here, I'll check it next year, so.
Or how many people say, I love this spot, but the deer are over here,
Mm-hmm. And they sit and watch it year after year. So yeah, take note on that and make your moves. And yeah, snow is the best way to learn what these patterns are, because I guarantee you'll find spots that you didn't know deer use, especially if you get yourself, this is the time of year to get into that deep, thick cover that you don't want to walk in during deer season, and actually see how they're using it and where their entrance and exit routes are coming out of that stuff. Because obviously you're probably not going to go to get into the super thick stuff because you're going to bump deer during the season. But if you can find the entrance and the exits, it helps you set up and be prepared. So yeah, I think definitely scouting this time of year is also huge. So yeah, that's probably going to wrap us up for the day, I think, with our question. And we appreciate you writing in on that. Or if you guys want to send in any questions, it doesn't have to just be about deer hunting. Send them into the providerspodcast@gmail.com. We have a good time answering them because it makes us think outside the box and think on our feet too. So, We love having them come in. Like to thank Smoking It Smokers for being our sponsors. Check them out at smokingit.com. Check us out on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook. We try to get stuff out wherever we can, and we appreciate you guys' support, and we'll see you guys next week.
Get some ice, get a hot dog. Let's go.
Wiener.
Wiener.